Okay, so as we're going through this, remember, as group 1 is sitting inside the circle, that does not mean that group 2 gets to not do anything. It's not party time. So you're going to do the discussion feedback. Remember, so you have 5 interesting comments that people in the inner circle made. List note and name of contributor, especially because when group 2 comes back in, you can use this information to take up the next part of the discussion. For instance, you could say, Tavian made a really interesting comment, and then kind of summarize the comment and then come back around to use that. Yes, ma'am, Joy.
Are we just talking about our partner or other people?
Other people too. Anybody in the circle that said something you liked and thought was interesting for the first 5.
Okay.
Remember. So for the first 5 interesting comments, that is for anybody in the circle. For the 3 comments for your partner, those are at the bottom. It's 2 positive aspects of their contribution and 1 area that they could improve in their contribution. Because remember, we want to get feedback as much as possible about how we look in discussions in addition to the comments that are made in general. Make sure that your comments are, I want to emphasize the positive. So if somebody said some really good stuff, make sure to say it. Don't write, in the area of improvement, something rude. This is constructive criticism, remember, not destructive. And we talked about the difference between the two. Yeah, Peyton. Do you have a question?
Oh, never mind.
Okay. So we're going to start off with group 1. You're going to be in the middle circle for 8 minutes. We're shortening it a little bit for this time. Because this is a difficult text, we're going to switch out because it would be very difficult for everybody to sustain the discussion the first round as we're going through just to generate ideas. So for round 1, 8 minutes. Round 2 will be 8 minutes. We'll do 8 minutes round 1. You'll turn, get your feedback for a few minutes, and then we will switch out. Yes, sir. Ephraim. Okay, so remember, if you are in group 2, you're writing, not a word. Even if somebody says something that makes you want to lose your mind, you can write it down and respond to it when you're in the inner circle. So 8 minutes. I'm setting the timer. Okay, go ahead and get started.
Okay, with civil disobedience, was it actually like a good or bad thing?
Civil disobedience is just like going against the government, right? Just to be sure. It's just like going against.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's kind of like an oxymoron. Is it just me? It really is.
What do you mean? Explain.
No. Okay. How can you be civil and like disobedient?
It's because they're not violent.
Because it says in the text that unjust laws exist. So disobedience isn't always bad. Like if there is a rule that isn't just, it isn't a good thing, then why should you have to follow it? So sometimes disobedience can be a good thing, and it's just saying that civil meaning nonviolence. They're going about it in a peaceful way.
To give an example, like uncivilized disobedience, that'd be like a riot, like going from a demonstration to a riot. And civilized would be like Martin Luther King did his speech, like he just talked, and when I say no violence, no cursing whatsoever.
Or boycott. But if it's a law, isn't there a purpose for it? Like, you can't kill somebody, that's a good law. So
Right.
what's the difference? What establishes a good law from a bad law?
It really depends on, for me, I think it depends on how society is, it depends on the person that makes the law. Because sometimes, the kings back in the day, they made a law for them.
But we don't have to. We got a fair and just government that does everything for us.
But what I'm saying is all the laws that we have were created so long ago, and people tend to be so against the idea of changing them, even though we've changed so much just in, the past 20 years we've changed. So to use the same laws today that we had then, it doesn't really make sense,
We got prohibition, it was a current law. It's an amendment.
Right.
It's a current law. It's current at the time. and we changed that one back.
Right, because it didn't make sense. So, it might make sense to some people, but, economically, in the end, they realized that it wasn't right. But there was a time when they thought it was right.
Yeah, because sometimes the laws are mainly, like the laws now, are mainly made for the general population. It's mainly made for like a group of people, it's not necessarily for, this one person with a unique circumstance.
So what defines, how do you know if you're in that group of people that can follow the law, or are you not a part of the group of people that can disobey the law?
I mean, that's the thing about individualism. It's all about you. It's all about what you think is right.
Like gay marriage. There was a time when, African American and white people couldn't get married. That didn't make sense. People realized that this is something that shouldn't be a law. We can do this. Right now, gay people are realizing they should be able to get married, So that's an example of an unjust, like a law that doesn't make sense. That shouldn't apply to
I know
people.
that, but how do you know, what justifies the law not being able to, what justifies you not being able to, you being able to disobey the law? What justifies a just law from an unjust law?
Okay, one thing would be in the sense of murder. Like we all know you're not supposed to kill people. But say there's a situation where someone's trying to kill you and you kill them out of self-defense.
So it's circumstantial?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's personal morals. At the end of it all, if you look at all different beliefs and religions and ideas, like transcendentalism and different religions and the general the general idea of like the law system that we have, they all have the same core beliefs. You shouldn't kill people. Do what makes you happy, so long as you're not hurting other people. Or people say that that's their general belief, So you look at it and you evaluate personal morals. We know what is right and what's wrong.
So for transcendentalism, I feel like they wouldn't even have to need that law because they have the belief that everyone is like born good.
Right.
So maybe they wouldn't even need the law to where you don't have to kill someone and all that other stuff.
You should just know.
Yeah, you're just good.
And start. So your timer is going. Group 2, go ahead and start discussing. Okay, ready? And go.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm just piggybacking off of what the first group said. When they said, I'll just ask you the question. Like, what do you think sparked, Gandhi's feelings to do what he did? Like, what do you think all that came from? What led to his point? Like, what was all of it?
Other than Thoreau's idea of civil disobedience, he saw that his people were miserable, and he saw these people being mistreated by the British government. And he actually says that he saw his people having their money taken, and he said, little do people know how the semi-starved masses of Indians are slowly sinking to lifelessness. So he saw his people downgrading and how the British government was taking them down, and that's what kind of sparked his writing the articles and everything. But what was interesting to me, he pointed out that he realized, he said, I am satisfied that many English and Indian officials honestly believe that they are administering one of the best systems devised in the world, and that India is making steady though slow progress. These men do not know that a subtle but effective system of terrorism and organized display of force that is being used. So he noticed his people were being mistreated, but his way of going about it was to be civil about it and write an article. And he says that he would take any punishment. He would accept his punishment because he knows he's getting the word out and letting everyone know.
I think Thoreau, is that what you say?
Thoreau.
Okay. I think Thoreau, his view on this is, I think he's actually admiring Gandhi in a way, because he was saying that on the first page, he was just saying that you have to have a certain virtue and a certain boldness, because nobody else was standing up like Gandhi was. So I think that he was well respected by that virtue that he had to be bold.
Okay.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Would y'all be like Gandhi and choose the highest punishment when y'all went to a trial and stuff? Would y'all do that?
I mean,
If it was for a good cause, yeah.
like if I definitely believed in something, and if I would do anything to make sure everyone knew what was happening and knew what my idea was, and if I didn't know if anyone else supported me, I would definitely get the word out and be like, yeah, give me the highest punishment, because I'm making a change. Because that's basically what Gandhi was doing. He was trying to make a change by saying, hey, he was doing his article and then saying, hey, give me the highest punishment, because they're really, and I'm not gonna say I don't understand. He says he wants the highest punishment, but really there is no punishment if you're doing good for your people. So the punishment kind of doesn't matter if you're doing good for your people and making a change in your society.
And it's like the same thing with Martin Luther King, because, you know, he didn't, like, care what anybody else was saying or doing, because when he was marching, he was getting spit on and calling names and all that, and he was just steady going and helping his society, trying to get people to, you know, come together and be as one. And, you know, he just kept fighting for it.
Yeah. I want to go back to the idea of civil disobedience, what Larissa said. How can you be civil and disobedient? Like, how do you guys interpret that?
I think, like some people mentioned earlier, like just being disobedient for a good cause. Like you know this isn't right, and you know that the laws that they're making is evil. Like Peyton said, it just comes from a moral standpoint. Moral standpoint, and a moral standpoint, and what you believe in. So, yeah, I think he was just doing something, going against the government because they know it was corrupt. The government really had no foundation. Because the foundation they were standing on could crack at any moment, and I think that's why they were so fearful of Gandhi standing up, because they knew he could influence, you know, the government how he did. So just going against what society was for a good cause, and I think people still do that today, to be honest.
Well, what is the need of laws if there's transcendentalism? Like, if there's this belief that everyone's born to be good, then what's the point in having a law?
I think like make sure that one person is like stays on good, and like don't be tempted to do evil.
But it's weird that they have reinforcements if they all believe that everybody's good. So it's like, why would you have a law if you believe that everybody's good? There's no need for a reinforcement.
Maybe it's because they don't want somebody to be in too much power. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like certain restrictions or something.
Yeah.
It's like you can't overdo stuff, so you gotta like make laws to make it sure that nothing bad happens. If everyone's good, no one's perfect. Wow. The road.
I'm trying to be smart.
And what you talking about?
But
I was saying that Martin Luther King was more influenced by Thoreau because you know how he was like, it's a good and bad side or whatever. So that's what Martin Luther King was saying. Like, he was like, he's not trying to change nobody, but he wanted everybody to be you know, as one. Even though like white or black, you know. Yeah, white or black, it don't matter what color you are. If we believe in the same thing, then you know we the same people. So that's what I was talking about.
So, Joy, you in a little circle. You was like, how do Martin Luther King and Gandhi have the same things when they have different religions? So, okay, if Gandhi believed in gay marriage and Martin Luther King believed in gay marriage, even though Christians don't believe in gay marriage, if you believe what's right in your heart, if you know it's right, then what's it?
Enjoy.
wait, are we talking about the thing? Are we talking about gay marriage?
No, we're talking about gay marriage as an example.
I'm just saying, like, they had